nice yellow flowering shrub, and it's currently blooming. You can see it right here.
Certified landscaper James Wilhite is here to tell us all about this beautiful plant that you brought. Welcome, James. Must be Thursday, right?
It is Thursday. Good morning.
Good morning to you. Tell us about what you brought. I'm surprised that it survived all the rain that we've had.
You know, and it's funny, Forsythia is one of those funny little flowers that in all this rain, it tends to droop more on the flowers. They typically will stand up just a little bit more, but because of all the rain, they hang down a little bit more. So you'll see all the little flower petals are hanging down. That's a reaction to the rain. It allows them to drain instead of holding the moisture, and allows them to go ahead and produce seed instead of just getting washed out.
That's how I feel.
Yes, myself. Dr. Rob is going to have to get us a better forecast.
I know.
I don't know.
Me,
we may have to replace him if he doesn't get better than this. But Forsythia is one plant that I think is terribly underutilized in East Texas. They're perfect for here. Very carefree. You really have an easy time getting them to establish and grow in the yard. And then once you've got them established, you really don't have to do anything to them. Feed them just a little normal food. You don't have to prune them. You can, but you don't have to. They work well as a hedgerow. They'll grow up to about 3 to 4 feet tall and wide. After they have established and have gotten a good dense growth on them, they almost appear to weep a little bit. They're not straight up and down. They tend to weep out as they grow. And they make a beautiful little deciduous woody plant. And as you can see in the spring, they're just absolutely loaded with flowers. This looked twice this colorful 2 days ago. Of course, the rain has just absolutely done its trick on them and beaten a lot of the flowers off. But normally they don't have a big problem with that. Again, fairly carefree. And if you want to, you can catch them before they bloom, take a couple of the longer stems, bring them in the house, drop those in a vase of water and force them. They'll actually bloom for you inside within a couple of weeks. So it'll give you a little early hint of spring, just a little dash of color if you want to try and do that. Again, you can prune them or leave them alone. You can pretty well just plant them and enjoy them as a single or as a hedgerow. They're just perfectly suited for East Texas, originally from the Orient, but they have adapted very well for East Texas and terribly underutilized, one that should be used more. Other things that we're seeing in the woods right now are the wild pear. This is the time of year when I get a lot of calls from people about the dogwoods are blooming already and mine is not. Those are not dogwoods that you're seeing blooming out in the woods. Those are wild pear. And when you see clusters of them and it looks like acre upon acre of white bloom, you realize how many wild pears are out there. They don't produce a large fruit. It's a tiny little fruit about the size of a peanut or a pea, but it's good for birds and wildlife. They love it. They do have thorns, so be very careful. If you think you want to try and go out and enjoy some of those blooms, they will stick you, but they are beautiful. And this is the time of year when we see just tons and tons of them. The pears are blooming, the forsythias are blooming, and even if Dr. Rob can't bring us prettier weather, these are going to pronounce that spring is here. So pretty weather or rainy weather, spring is about here. And what? Tomorrow at 5 p.m. is the official start of spring?
The official start. Exciting. I know, and we're going to be drenched in rain.
That's true.
I tell you, we're going to have to get a better weatherman.
I know.
He's just not calling them right for us.
I know.
Robert, we need some sun, but I have to ask, okay, this yellow is just beautiful. Does it come in any more colors, though?
You know, Forsythia is pretty much just yellow. I have seen some hybrids that were slightly different, maybe just a little bit of a brown hint in it, but yellow is what Forsythia comes in.
Wonderful.
Not a lot of colors. However, now that you've mentioned it, I know there's going to be a botanist that says, that's the one I can get rich on. They're going to breed in and they're going to come up with a dozen different colors of forsythias within the next 3 years. So it'll be your guess.
Oh, okay.
That'd be pretty. What color would you like? Pink? I knew it.
My favorite
I could have
color.
guessed.
Duh.
That would work.
How about purple? Purple would be pretty too. Purple and green.
Put your
That must
request
be a
in. They'll
college
breed them
student.
for you.
There you go. And what do you think about all this rain? Our plants must be loving it, right?
You know, to a
Even
certain
though we
extent, they
aren't,
love it. They're as bored with it as we are. I was in a lawn yesterday and I noticed how many spots of fungus there were. This rain has just been relentless. Plants like water, but that, like everything, there's just too much of it at some time. And right now, everything is soaking wet. The ground is soaking wet. It cannot receive much more water. Some plants are beginning to suffer because of it, and for the most part, it's going to be fungus. So watch out for fungus in your lawn. We're going to get 2 or 3 days of pretty weather, and your lawn's going to start looking better, and there will be big spots that don't look better. That could be fungus. Watch out for that.
Wow. Well, everything's good in moderation, but I know we all want this rain to get out of here. All right.
All right.
Thank you very
My
much.
pleasure.
After